Newsflash, we're coming to you regarding the banking crisis.
Well, it's a personal crisis, but we're not the only ones in it. So we want to explain to you, if you travel all the time and you need to do banking on the road, kind of how this whole thing works, because it's like a bundle, really, right?
Yeah, it's like a bundle, but okay, let's first start with why it became a crisis.
Okay, we'll tell you what happened to us, why it's a crisis, why it was never a crisis in the first 2.5 years.
True.
And then how we solved it cheaply. I'm gonna need a drink.
I've already had one.
Let me first say, thank God this happened while we were coming into the U.S. for 11 days, or
Yes.
it would have been a much, much bigger crisis.
Absolutely.
We were able to resolve it because we were on land in the U.S.
Yeah, resolving the problem for us was easy. We were coming into the United States, so it allowed us to go places and do things to resolve the problem.
But you might want to plan ahead in case you're not happening to be into the U.S. when your crisis hits.
So Chase Bank is a bank that we have used for all of our credit cards and different activities.
Checking and savings. We have tons of credit cards with them. So it's easy. That's where we do our payments out of and all of that.
And they believe that there is a huge problem with fraud because they've lost a lot of money. So they've cracked down.
They're not the only bank.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how much they absorb by forgiving fraudulent claims that they have to pay anyways, right?
Yeah, so they cracked down hard.
They cracked down very hard unexpectedly. So we've never had a problem ever with Chase. It's very easy to get their codes. We've never had fraud issues. Even when we had a card that was compromised and we had to go through the fraud department, we never had problems communicating with them,
Nope.
verifying who we were, nothing. Okay, for 2.5 years, until 2 weeks ago. So while we were out in the middle of the Atlantic, I applied for an ink card. Hyatt miles, you know, we stay for free.
Mm-hmm.
How we do it. Okay, but everything went fine until they declined my application with a letter saying, the letter said, "You have had your identity compromised. You should take action. We have declined a application from you because of this." Like, oh, no, I have not had it compromised. So I called them. Luckily, we had Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
I called them to talk to them about it. They said, to talk to you about this, we need to send you a verification code to know who you are. Okay, fine. You do this all the time, right?
Not fun.
They couldn't get the code to come through. They couldn't get a phone call to come through because we have Google Voice, which is called a VOIP, a voice over internet protocol. So that's how we manage to keep our number from the US is by having Google Voice, which is free, doesn't cost anything, and has worked fantastic for us.
Absolutely.
This is the first time we've ever had a problem with Chase. Now, I will say, there are other banks that will not use this Google Voice. They try. They don't even understand what you're talking about. They just send you the stuff. They try to call you. It doesn't work. We've had the problem with especially Barclays and Wells Fargo. I mean, in critical ways, you guys, where I don't even know how they happen to have our son's number, but finally they called his phone. He had it on speaker. He had me on speaker. We pretended I answered his phone. That's how we resolve that. So maybe have a land-based family or friend with a phone number on your bank accounts, and that is one way to get around this.
Yeah.
But not always convenient with the time difference, etc.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened was, because they couldn't verify it, they said you need to go in to a physical branch of Chase. Well, we have found out that we thought Chase had all these branches around the world, but most of them are not ones that you can actually go in and do banking or deposits or solve problems. They're more like investment offices or something, or ATMs. So anyways, luckily we were pulling into Florida, went into a branch before we went to the airport.
Got that
Had
dealt
to
with.
have like multiple forms of identity, proof of address, all this. All my credit cards for 'em. They called the fraud line for me. They said, okay, everything's fine. We released it. They approved your application. They mailed your card. Everything's resolved.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Get to Washington State, pick up the card, try to use it. Gets declined 3 times in a row. Never went through. By then we're in Oklahoma. So I called them again. I'm like, what is going on? And the lady says, well, I have to send you a verification code through to your phone. I'm like, okay, it's all resolved, right? It won't go through. She says, I said, is it because of this VOIP thing? She says, yes. You have to have, and this is the first time a bank has told us this, that someone actually knew what they were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, you have to have a U.S. cell carrier or this will not work. The fraud department line will not go out to anything but a U.S. carrier with your name on the bill.
Oh.
Your name on the bill. I don't know how they know, but anyways, that's what she told me. So, so we had to go into the office again.
Oklahoma this time.
In Oklahoma, pile of ID. Proved myself again. The guy called the fraud department. Now, this time I knew I had to have a U.S. carrier. So what did we do?
So we researched it out to find out what the cheapest option would be. And you know, we can't use some of these things that are expensive, so we ended up using Tello.
Yes, because T-Mobile is just too expensive. I know some people have great international coverage, but we don't need it.
No.
Yeah, we use eSIMs, mostly Arelo, and we can do a video on that if you'd like it. Drop it in the comments. But Tello is something that a few nomads have started using for this reason.
Yep.
And we didn't think we needed it because we were doing okay.
We were wrong.
Till now. So I'm going to show you how to sign up for Tello. We do have a promo code down in the description. If you link through us, it might help us pay for it for a couple months. So
or buy more wine.
Feel free, to link from ours. But basically, we could have gotten it as cheap as $5 a month. We chose the $8 a month plan because you get like 1 gigabyte of data, and it works in like lots of countries. And so we thought that's not a bad backup plan just in case we're having trouble with the Wi-Fi while we're trying to deal with these issues.
Right.
We have actual data that is on a plan with our name on it, you know. Okay, so we got Tello. They gave us a phone number. It's extremely easy to sign up for. I had a phone number in hand. Didn't know if it'd work or not with the fraud department because we've never tried this before. So I took it into Chase. I said, I need to add this to my account and get this fraud situation dealt with. The fraud department had to add the phone line. Like, it wasn't that easy to get it added. It wouldn't take it. Finally, they got it worked out. And I said, could you please have the fraud department itself send me a notification on that phone number because I want to make sure it's going to come through. So they did. They sent me a code. I sent it back. They said it works fine with it. So I did make sure when I signed us up, because we only needed 1 phone number, not 2.
Right.
So I put Catherine and Timothy Hudson on the bill, both of our names. And I think that's important for what I'm going to tell you next. So everything was just hunky-dory again until we got to California. And I said, we better add this number to all of Tim's credit cards on Chase to make sure that everything's copacetic before we leave for South America tomorrow, right?
This was on a Saturday. We were leaving on a Sunday, and it was pouring down rain. And she says, Tim, you need to go to the bank now.
Well, I was having sushi with my girls, so, I couldn't do it. It's his account.
She gave me 10 minutes to drive in the rain to the bank.
And he made it with 3 to spare. He got in. It was okay.
Soaking wet.
But the reason was because when we went to add the phone number, it said, you have no primary phone number on the line or on your account. None. When they had taken off my number that was on Google Voice, they took it off all my accounts and our checking and savings, which I didn't know were different and hadn't been fixed along with my credit cards. And they took it off of his accounts.
Yeah.
And they took off his number, which was perfectly fine, but also a VoIP. So, yeah.
Long story short, I did get that number added to the account, but I had to go in and do it.
Has to be done in person. So I would suggest that you get a number and you add it before you have any kind of issue, because as soon as you have an issue, they need to verify all this stuff, and the only way to do it is in person.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know, maybe you don't want to rock the boat if it's working for you. You want to try to wait until you're in the US and then add it, and that's okay too, but I just want you to be aware of this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I did go and add that number to all my other banks, of course.
Yeah,
Don't
because
want
it's
this
preemptive.
situation. Even at Barclays, I had no problem, because I can get all the codes to verify as long as they don't come from the fraud department. As long as you're not dealing with a problem that then the fraud department's involved, the codes come through fine, the verification codes on Google Voice. So I went into every one of our banks, including the problem ones, Barclays, Wells Fargo, and was able to put it in. The promo code came through. They added the number to our account. So one of them you had to call. Which one was that? Was it Wells Fargo?
I'm going to go with yes, it was Wells Fargo.
One of them he had to call, but it worked out. It was fine over the phone. It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
So I would get a U.S. carrier number on there before you have problems.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you deal with Chase, oh my gosh, you do not want to be in this situation, because if you can't even access your bank accounts, what would you do, right?
Well, I mean, you can still.
Credit cards.
Yeah.
I mean, stuff that's already set up presumably would go up. But I don't know. If we would have let it go, what would have happened? We already had no phone number on the account because they took it off. And they were saying, you need to contact customer service.
Yeah.
Well, if you contact customer service and they can't verify you,
They'll
they're
transfer
just
you
going
to
to crack down
yeah.
farther.
They'll transfer you over to the fraud department, and then they can't verify.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of a mess.
We just want to warn you guys, because we did not think this could happen to us. We thought we had this all figured out and handled. To get $10 in free credit, you must use this link, also below in the description, and the promo code also. Scroll down to the area where it says see more plans. If you click on that, it goes into build your own plans into a little grid that you can manipulate to check out all the different options and prices. This is going to be your cheapest option for only $5 a month. Now, if you want to add a little bit of data, it's going to cost a little bit more, but you can manipulate it and get it down pretty cheap. They have a family plan if you want more than one line. Next, you're going to set up a login, pretty much the way you do on any website. Once you get your login, you're going to get an opening screen where you can put in your referral code, click on the agreements, and join Tello. You have two options for your telephone number on Tello. I decided to get the free new number so I could keep it all separate, although you could use your existing number if you don't mind the complications. You can then get a physical or eSIM. We went with eSIM. You fill out your information. If you get the plan that includes data, you can have a hotspot included, free Wi-Fi calling, free international calls to 60 countries. Now, I believe that that's just to a landline, but you might want to double check that. You can just use the phone you have, or they have options to get a phone through them. We just kept the phone we have. By the way, all of this is on an iPhone 13 Pro, so I'm going to show you the cell settings. Obviously, if you have a different kind of phone, that might differ. If you don't have a dual eSIM, that might differ also. Okay, you can add pay-as-you-go credit, which we did. Mostly we did that in case we needed more data on the fly. So that's an option as well. We really like the fact this was a risk-free thing to try. There was no contract, Once you've activated your phone number, go into cellular settings and scroll down to find your Tello line. Go into it, be sure you turn it on, and turn on Wi-Fi calling. I'm only using Tello for calling right now, so I keep my regular eSIM on for data, and I have Tello as my default voice line. You may need to turn off Tello temporarily just to boot up a new. When you're doing your banking, use a VPN.
Right.
We use Surfshark. It's worked fine on all our banks. They all think we're in the U.S. unless you deal with the fraud department, perhaps. I don't think it was about that. I think it was just the phone number. But definitely, you don't want to throw up a red flag by not using a VPN. So maybe Surfshark, or there's a whole bunch of them out there.
Yeah.
I've got a link to our Surfshark code in the description if you'd like to book through us. But Surfshark's been great for us with streaming services, banks, everything. Super easy to use.
Yeah.
If you'd like a how-to on Surfshark or on eSIMs for a Raylo, or how to do Google Voice and set up your number to leave, whatever you want, let us know in the comments, and we might do a how-to video. But all these things work together. You've got to have data and phone in the right ways and be in the right country, which might involve a VPN, to have the best banks experience.
Yes. And
banking's everything.
And this is how you avoid a banking crisis.
We think ours is over. We hope ours is over.
It's not.
We hope we're helping you avoid a banking crisis like ours. Just par for the course in this life. Stuff happens.
And once you avoid the banking crisis, it's so much easier to get out there and taste life.
Go taste life for yourself, people, and enjoy every bite of it.
Please subscribe to both of our channels, and in the descriptions below, you will find links to our social media. And you know what? Leave us a comment. Tell us what you like, and let us know what you'd like to see in the future.